Q&A and community concern carry the most weight out of all segments. We have advised the judges to align their judging with the mission of our pageant, which is to foster the next generation of young female Chinese American leaders in Chicago. Therefore, community concern carries the most weight. In this upcoming final segment of the night, contestants will talk about a cause or community that they're passionate about and how they've been involved. Please give a warm welcome to our 6 beautiful contestants. And tonight they will be sharing what they are passionate about and just a little bit more than that. All right. Let's have contestant number 1, Jade Lund. Growing up in a small town in Michigan, I was one out of 5 Asian Americans through middle school and high school. When looking around, I thought it was weird that I didn't see familiar faces that looked like me. I thought things would change when I went to college, but they really didn't. Not until I discovered the Asian Student Organization at Columbia College Chicago, which I was part of their e-board for 3 years as their creative director. That experience I am truly grateful for. I am currently part of the Coalesce cohort in Chicago, where they promote diversity in Chicago, as well as the Playground Theater's Mosaic program for improv performance. I love mentoring students, and I really think that with this opportunity, I'm able to lead them to a better life. As a potential title holder for Miss Chinese Chicago, I'd like to bring more awareness of Chinatown with the general community, implementing a marketing plan with my experience in public relations and advertising. Because when people hear about Chinatown, they hear about the great tasty food. But they don't really go to the beautiful gardens of Pingtown Memorial Park, or the fierce Dragon Boat Club, Chicago Fury, or even the Asian American Museum. I want those highlights to be known throughout Chicago. Those are the highlights that really make what Chinatown is today. And with the help, we can blossom and pollinate this knowledge and make something really beautiful. Thank you so much. Thank you. Let's welcome contestant number 2, Jamie Moy.
Moments for my 6 years of educating was when I was entrusted with teaching English to 2 students who just immigrated from China. My initial reaction was, I got this. I know Chinese and I know English. During our first session, I clearly remember the frustration that all of us felt. Seconds became minutes, minutes became hours. None of us understood one another, but because of these 2 students, I wanted to help them even more. As a teacher, the only way that I could help them was to improve my own Chinese knowledge. These students helped me find a passion in wanting to help the Chinese community. I am not just Chinese, nor am I just American, but I am Chinese American. At that moment, I went out to take extra Chinese classes. I wanted to build a bridge between both Chinese and American cultures. I wanted to make a more inclusive community. Eventually, I began to volunteer as a translator at Dr. Lurie's clinic at Chinatown Square. And to this day, I work with predominantly Chinese students. In order to make my students' educational experience more enriched, more wholesome, I created a fun curriculum incorporating both singing and dancing, celebrating both of our cultures. Through my work with children, I want to pass my torch on to them so that they too can be community leaders. If I was granted Miss Chinese Chicago 2018, I would inspire even more Chinese youth, not only within our own community, but throughout Chicago, so that they too can continue building this bridge, so they can stand strong for generations to come. Thank you.
And let's welcome contestant number 3, Brittany Lau. As a lifelong resident of Chinatown, I've been involved in this community since I was young. I volunteer with the Chinatown Chamber of Commerce during their Dragon Boat race and sell annual tickets for their annual galas. I also volunteer with the St. Trees Chinese Church during Chinatown Fair, serving food. My main volunteer activity is with CASTLE, Chinese American Service League. I worked with the elderly in the adult day service. As an art coordinator, I crafted, exercised, and went on excursions with the elderly. Through spending quality time with the elderly, I realized that many of them don't vote because they don't know how to vote, and that they believe that their vote doesn't matter. I want to change this. I want to use my Chinese language skills and practice to bridge the knowledge and language gap so that they feel more empowered to vote. I hope that as a Miss Chinese Chicago contestant, I can bring more visibility around elderly's voting concerns and make it possible for them to be active and empowered citizens. Thank you.
Old enough to do crime, old enough to do time. I'm sure that's a saying most of us know, and that most of us often apply to just adults. But what about the juveniles? Now, for the past 3 years, I've worked closely with Elmhurst's police program to make sure that juveniles stay out of prison. And simply put, I am a part of their peer jury program. Now, what is peer jury? Peer jury is basically a program that is designated for children from 9 years old to about my age, 18. And it's dedicated to them because these are children who have committed misdemeanors for the first time. Instead of throwing them straight out into the lion's den where they go straight into court and go straight into prison, we open a hearing. And through each hearing, we talk about their behavior, why certain things that they've done is wrong. And you'll see that because of this program, Elmhurst's recidivism rate, which is a rate for repeat offenders, is substantially lower. Now, that's only in one neighborhood. But what if we can expand that to all of Chicago? There are 22 districts here in Chicago, and only some of them have this program. Why? Because of funding. Now, as your Miss Chinese Chicago contender, I want to extend this program because I want to ensure that children have a chance at succeeding for a second time in a society that works against them. That includes Chinatown. Because I think all of us would agree that children are our future and we should do what's best for them. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Contestant number 4, Honey Tay. Let's welcome contestant number 5, Jen Chan.
When I was a kid, I was bullied for being different. Other kids used to call me made in China, or harass me in the hallways, or even throw things at me. For a long time, I struggled with racism and prejudice, but my experiences taught me that hatred breeds more hatred. The only cure to hatred is love and positivity. My life mission is to teach people to love themselves and the cultures they are from. At the same time, I want to share my beautiful culture with this world and help others fall in love with it. I have already done this through dance. 8 years ago, I started a dance crew that used only Asian music. My goal was to show the world that Asians were more than a 2D stereotype. We could be strong, we could be confident, and we could be anything that we want to be, including hip-hop dancers. Since then, I've taught over 300 people how to dance. And that tiny dance crew is still running today. But I didn't stop there. I've created conferences, I've served on steering committees, I've spoken in panels. Overall, I believe that I can alleviate racism through cultural education. When I was young, some people tried to bring me down, but instead they just gave me the strength to break down color barriers, glass ceilings, or any other obstacle in my path. And as Miss Chinese Chicago, my goal would be to give this pride to the Chinese community. At the same time, I would like to invite other communities to come to Chinatown and experience our culture for themselves. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Contestant number 5, Jen Chan. Last but not least, let's welcome contestant number 6,
2 years ago, when I moved to Chicago, I fell in love with this city. Its thriving communities inspired me to find out where I could contribute. At that time, I had already been attending Chinese Christian Union Church in Chinatown, so I decided that I should start serving where I had already found myself. That year, I wrote, directed, and acted in CCUC's Christmas and Easter plays. I also volunteered at Puerto Christian School as an assistant director for their Christmas show as well, which is something that I will be doing this year too. Throughout my training as an actress, I've learned that theater fosters community. People with very different perspectives come together in one room and find common ground. As potential Miss Chinese Chicago, I would want to create a community-wide theater program for all ages so that we can tell our stories in the form of performing plays publicly, using performance spaces that are already available in CCUC, Puerto, or the Public Library, or the Chinese American Museum of Chicago. These are all viable options. I know that through this process, we will not only be able to tell beautiful stories, but find solutions to current challenges as well, such as dismantling stereotypes and connecting the younger generation with the stories of those who have gone before. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Contestant number 6, Harmony Zhang. And let's see each of them one by one more time. Contestant number 1, Jade Lund. Contestant number 2, Jamie Moy. Contestant number 3, Brittany Lau. Contestant number 4, Honey Tay. Contestant number 5, Jen Chan. And contestant number 6, Harmony Zhang. Woo! Thank you so much, ladies. You all performed so well tonight. I'm extremely proud of each of you. Wow. So all of these scored segments are now done, and our ladies are probably extremely nervous backstage, wondering what's going to happen, but they're also extremely relaxed because they're done. So let's give another round